now that you've reached the chapter that I'm sure most of you will want to turn to first, this chapter is all about guns. What they're best at, where to find them, and how to keep them working so they can keep you working. This chapter is specifically about classical ballistic firearms. So, I'm not talking about crossbows or magical energy weapons. I'm talking about guns that use standard ammo. But I'll talk about the ammo itself in another chapter. One thing that is sad is that most of you are probably already familiar with guns. If you're reading this book, you've probably used them to stay alive. It's a sad change from when I was a filly. Even into marehood, there were almost no guns around anywhere. They had never been mass-produced because we hadn't needed them. The princesses and ministry mares protected us, and even then, we never had big wars. Just some small invasions or bad guys we had to fight off, but the Great War changed everything, as you can see around you. It was probably sometime after the Little Horn Massacre that guns started being mass-produced for the military and public. Companies like Ironshod Firearms and Lockstep Armory began building them quickly because everyone felt like they needed one, and in too many ways, they were right. Not every gun was legal for normal families to own, but that didn't stop them from getting what they could. So, if you're looking to find another gun, a good place to start is old houses. Most families kept at least one gun hidden somewhere just in case the war came to their town. Same goes for office buildings. Look for a safe or check under a rug, look in file cabinets or in the back of a desk. Most likely you'll find something stashed with a bunch of ammo that goes with it. That's another thing to be mindful of. You need to be really careful that the ammo you have fits the gun that you are using. Somewhere on the gun, usually around the mouth grip or trigger, you'll see a little engraving with the serial number, the company that made the gun, and what kind of ammo it takes. Then, the ammo should say what size it is on the bottom somewhere, usually where the firing pin hits the cartridge. You must be very careful that you don't use the wrong sizes, because that can cause jams, that could get you hurt in a firefight, or it could cause the gun to blow up in your face. Most of these guns are hundreds of years old, so you need to be careful. They aren't in the best condition. However, even if they aren't perfect, there are ways you can make them better than perfect. You see, firearms are very simple machines. They're basically a metal tube with a small set of parts at the end that strike a bullet when you pull a trigger. So, it is very easy to break down one gun, even if it's a little different, and use it to fix your own. Most firearms you'll come across probably have become modded or repaired like this somehow. Especially if you're more of a wasteland wanderer, you'll want to break down the weaker guns so you can have a small set of really good guns. You don't want to be over-encumbered and have to crawl. A good approach is to make sure you have a few guns to cover almost any situation. Some kind of shotgun always comes in handy. They are simple, reliable, and you can use one to get your way out of a crowd of feral ghouls or shoot your way through a door. It's also a good idea to have a pistol of some kind. They are so small and easy to keep in a bag that it would be silly not to have at least one. They can be a great backup weapon, or, depending on the pistol, could be quite powerful by itself. Then, finally, you should always have some kind of rifle for long-range encounters. Most of the long-range rifles you will see will be able to shoot over a decent range, so you can take care of enemies from afar without them coming too close. I think medium range works best with some kind of small scope if you can find one. There are sniper rifles that have a big scope with a really long barrel, but unless you're good at using them, they can slow you down. Plus, not all medium-range rifles need a battle saddle. Some of them have a neck yoke so the rifle can balance on your shoulders while you pick it up in a mouth grip like a pistol. If you do find a battle saddle, however, you can use it for some much bigger guns. Many heavy machine guns attach to battle saddles because you can put a large green ammo container right there next to it. Same goes for grenade launchers, rockets, energy weapons, and a bunch of other things that would classify you as the heavy weapons mare in your group. Some of these bigger guns are going to be harder to find. Most of them were illegal for equestrians to own, and they were too big and bulky to hide inside a desk. Although, one time, I did find a missile launcher in one of those tall sports lockers. That was a good day. If you do want something like that to add to your arsenal, you will want to look around old military stuff. If you see a downed airship or military train or army base or even a police station, you'll probably find what you're looking for. Also, they might be harder to see, but there were Royal Guard depots placed all over the kingdom, mostly along big roads and highways. These depots are basically warehouses full of weapons and ammo. They can be hard to see though, most of them blend in with the buildings around them, but that's all in the fun of scavenging. Other places to look are old government buildings, like a ministry building or a bank or a royal mint. Most of them have soldiers guarding them at the end of the war, so there will be a room somewhere where those soldiers kept their weapons. And of course, if you're lucky enough, you can go right to the source. All these guns came from somewhere, and those somewheres are factories. Ironshod Firearms, Coltonfield Arsenal, Lockstep Armory, Griffinstone Foundry. There were lots of companies that made guns during the war, so if you find one of their factories, you'll have quite a selection to pick from. You have to be careful though. Most of them are heavily guarded by robots that are still working and still able to shoot you. Or, even if there aren't robots, some of the factories have been reclaimed by raiders or potentially dangerous ponies. No matter what weapon you use, the best thing you can do is get familiar with them. Understand how they feel, see if the bullet pulls a little to the left or right, get used to the recoil. Really take a look at their piece and inner workings. So, you know how to unjam them in a battle or replace them with other parts. All this practice will help your aim and make sure that you can defend yourself, your friends, and your family from whatever might try to hurt you. So, stay safe, and don't forget, you can always stop by absolutely everything for all your defensive needs.